Well, Coach, you've had a little time to digest the amazing night of action that we saw in the overtime win. What has popped into your head the most? And one of the things you said to me after the game was just the extremes of the game, how you deal with that as a coach.
Well, you're absolutely right, and trying to keep your cool and keep your poise and not get too high and too low through those incredible swings, not for 60 minutes, beyond 60 minutes. It's definitely a test, but our kids are just remarkable, and we've talked all year about their morale and their togetherness and how they never quit, and all of those things showed, because that game was ugly at times and it was wonderful at times, and everything in between. But to find a way, you know, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. We saw that in the Western Michigan game, where we all felt, you know, whatever emotions, that we didn't get one last shot to tie it up and go to overtime. And then you look at this Ball State game, and you know, the ball bounces your way a few times, and it certainly bounced the other way a few times too. But I think we were in position to throw the last punch, and we connected, and that was the good news.
One thing I want to ask you about, this play got lost in all the amazing, crazy plays, but end of the first half, after the Dolak interception, 5 seconds to go, you don't decide to kick a field goal. You take I thought it was a very gutsy coaching decision to go for the end zone. What went into that?
Well, I appreciate you realizing that. Just didn't think at that point that field goals were going to get us to where we wanted to go. In fact, the only time we kicked a field goal in that game was when we were in a 4th and long type situation where the percentages to score would have been very, very small. So the fact that we were inside the 5 there was no second guessing that. And, you know, as it turned out, we executed and closed the gap there to 4, gained some great momentum going into the half. And you know, there were some coaching decisions, like every game, that I'd like to have back, and I'm sure our coordinators would agree with that. And then there were some decisions like that one that we made very aggressively and worked out in our favor, and I'm sure the Ball State coaches are feeling the same way after the game as well.
Sean Dolak and Red Murdoch, I want to run these numbers for you. The two of them have combined for 263 tackles, 5 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles. Can you put into words what those two guys are doing on a incredible, historic, never seen, 2 linebackers do the things that they're doing mode?
Yeah, it is amazing when you hear those numbers, but when you're around them every day, it really doesn't surprise you, because the level of preparation that they put in, the amount of time that they could be off doing different things, where they're hanging around the office and studying video and asking questions, and their willingness to be coached hard out on the field, because Joe Bowen has such high expectations for the two of those guys, and is very demanding of both of those guys. So they're just rock star people, and because they are who they are, such high character guys, and obviously they have ability, but the student of the game aspect, the football IQ aspect, that's a big part of them being in position to make plays.
Talking with Bulls head coach Pete Lembo as we get you ready for Wednesday night action between the Bulls and the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Your matchup with Chris Creighton will be the first time you'll have coached against the same MAC coach for the second time around. I know you think very highly of him and go a long way back with him.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's done a great job. We come from very similar backgrounds, Division III college players, head coaches at a pretty young age, small college programs. You know, the first 2 years that he was at Eastern, we had some really good games against them, beat them in Muncie, and then had a really close game up there. I think that was the first year of the gray turf, and came away with a win, but just have the utmost respect for the job he's done. They've been to 5 or 6 bowl games. Here they are, you know, 1 win away from bowl eligibility again. So this is a very, very good program, a team that's very competent in all 3 phases. And once again, another veteran quarterback and highly explosive offense. I feel like it's been the last 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row that we've seen these type of offenses.
All right, let's wrap it up as we always do. It's Learning with Lembo time. Here we are going to Ypsilanti, Michigan, just outside of Detroit, heart of the American automotive industry. I know you're a big history buff. What jumps out of you? Henry Ford, Chevrolet, General Motors, all of that right there.
Yeah, and I'm a big car guy too, remember the days when General Motors had all those different brands. My first car was a 1981 Pontiac Grand Prix, and the color blue, it was a royalish kind of blue, very, very similar to UB Blue.
There you go. Fates.
There you go. There you go. Everything happens for a reason.
And Pontiacs no longer exist.
No longer exist.
That just gives you a little perspective on the time. Well, Coach, thank you for giving us a lot of fun and a lot of thrills over this season, especially last week. Maybe a few more in store. Good luck against Eastern.
And congrats on your 300th game.
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate that very much.